This is Sackboy, a big adventure. We're on PlayStation 5 taking a look at this upgraded version of the game. With that, we're getting close to a 4K resolution. Apparently it's like 75% of it. A bit of a dynamic resolution scaling is applied here. 60 FPS, so it does look fairly smooth in regards to the fluidity. And yeah, it's just kind of a delightful upgrade that does feature some other minor changes here or there over the existing version of the game outside of the resolution boost. That mostly comes down to different little fabric parts of the world. So not the biggest change, it's, about the same across the generations, but still improved and a lot more beautifully vibrant on the PlayStation 5. So with that, this is the latest chapter, and I guess you could say what's become of Little Big Planet. We've got Sackboy going on an adventure to battle against this evil dark presence that's sucked up all the friends in the realm, and now you need to go and save them. Anyways, you're going to these different areas. Every single kind of location has its own theme. This is the carpet I'm talking about that I guess is apparently just only on this platform. It's kind of cool. You move through it. It's neat. Anyways, past that, you go to all of these different worlds that all have a different theme to them. The first one's kind of a bit of a grassy, easygoing fields and, stuff like that. Then it gets a little bit of an icy snow, and we've got a bit of a water under the sea kind of vibe. They've all got a different sort of style to them. And every level is filled with collectibles and things to gather, usually in the form of these special orbs. And then there's these regular orbs that give you points, and there's some extra trophy system to it, or whatever. Anyways, it's really quite cool just in terms of actually needing to gather the collectibles. I made the mistake of just rushing through the levels to try to get through this a little bit faster, because, I'm on huge time crunches these days, which is a bit of a shame, because this is really quite a lovely experience. But yeah, like I was saying, you kind of go and you need to collect these orbs, because these orbs will allow you to go to the next area. Now, I'm not a big fan of any game that does like gating in regards to needing collectibles in order to progress, but it's really easy to get them in this one. Oh, here's some of the co-op in action, so you can actually play with other people, which is kind of cool. I think that's a fun little thing, so we're going to just show off a little bit of the co-op here. So you can play with like 4 players, which is kind of cool. And that's online, and I guess locally too, which is kind of nice. Drop in, drop out, usually between checkpoints. But you're just seeing, that kind of in action. But yeah, like I was saying, not a huge fan of any game that has any sort of gating with orbs or collectibles. It's orbs in this case. But yeah, you need so many, and then you get to progress. So you actually have to like backtrack and redo levels or do side challenges. Like there's these night challenges and stuff to do, which is cool if you're somebody that's into gathering all of this stuff. Again, I didn't think it was too much of a challenge to do, but just something to keep in mind. So yeah, it's actually pretty cool that you get to experience this game. You can play it alone or you can play it with others, which is kind of nice. They have a good selection of different arenas that you can enjoy, and there's some really cool setups to them. They mix up the platforming quite often, and it's got a decent challenge to it. I still think it's definitely something that any audience type can jump in here and have a good time with. And yeah, it was just kind of a delightfully pleasant platforming experience. I did have some issues with some of the grappling and or rolling type things where you had to cling onto them. I kept getting like kind of pushed off, if that makes sense. Like I'd hit it, trying to cling to it, and it like send me flying, just during like the water segments. So that was kind of a little iffy. And yeah, I think, they got a good variety of things, decently set up levels, gorgeous environments, like everything kind of has a nice homemade feel to it, if that makes sense. Like, it feels kind of papercraft, I guess you could say, just in regards to how everything's set up, some of the background characters. Like, they have a little fun with the environment. It's just a lovely and largely adorable sort of experience, which is really nice. And you're just able to jump through here and play and have fun. So with the co-op, there's also a sense of doing, I guess you could say, like it's a bit of a competition too in regards to how players are able to engage with one another, because you're like trying to get the best score by the end of it, and they got like a scoreboard. I didn't really care for that aspect of it, but it's just an extra little thing that you can work towards, doing is competing with people if you're playing with them. There is a lot of customization for your Sackboy character, all kinds of different outfits, leaning male or female as well. You get all kinds of choices in regards to adjusting your Sackboy any way you'd like. which is kind of nice. Again, these are fun things that you can either earn while playing and finding the environment, or going out there and actually collecting. And as you're seeing, this is the opening level here we're showing from this point outwards. It's just kind of a really lovely, easygoing, and well-designed game. I definitely had a great time playing it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think there's a good amount of challenge here, a good variety of content too across the different realms. I think there's like 5 or 6 of them. Anyways, and you work through a selection of levels within each of them. The levels are, decently long, but they're somewhat short. You can run through fast, but you're going to be spending time gathering collectibles, doing things on the levels, finding hidden secrets, whether you're feeding a chef or doing some sort of extra little challenge to unlock more orbs. It's just kind of a neat setup, I think it offers quite a bit of different things to do, different tasks to take in, challenges along the way, and it's definitely a neat sort of experience. I think they really put together something that was fun, and again, like I said earlier, something that I think is almost perfect for any type of audience to jump in and have a good time with. And that's something that could be a little hard to do when it comes to these platforming games, to put together something that provides a lot of value, and also has a good balance of challenge and then also easygoing action so that anyone can check it out. Because that's exactly what this is supposed to be for, is a game that's for everyone, and I think they nailed that. I mean, like, look at the depth in the environment too. Like, it's a very simple set game, but yet they had all these nice little touches. Again, going back to the carpet, how you move through it, some of the reactionary stuff, the cool puffy clouds, and then on top of that, you're using the DualSense, so the DualSense has a lot of nice little haptic parts to it. I wouldn't say they go wild with the haptics. It's very lightly used in this one, but it is there. I'd say the biggest part of the controller integration is like the sounds that play through the controller, to the point that you're almost missing out on a lot of what the game sounds like without actually having the controller, playing any sort of audio, which is interesting if you're thinking, forward compatibility wise, but whatever, doesn't matter. It's pretty cool. And it adds a lot too, just in regards to what you're doing, just hearing that sound coming through. I think that's kind of nice. So it's very easy to connect with others and play cooperatively if you'd like to. It's an easygoing game with see, this is what I'm talking about, you get bounce off stuff, with a decent challenge, and it's just sort of a light, lovely, easygoing time. I had a lot of fun, working through. You're supposed to drag that. What was I doing punching it? Anyways, I had a lot of fun maneuvering through the levels and like finding some secrets and going off and doing things. Like, it's got a good length to it. I think it's definitely something that is fun and enjoyable, and it just has a lot of content to it. If you enjoyed the previous ones, I'm really not familiar with the franchise prior to this. I've always wanted to play it. I would assume that it feels pretty on brand while still being a fresh new generational start for this character. And again, like I was hearing, I guess, if you're back playing the PlayStation 4 version of the game, you won't necessarily feel like you're missing out on any of the content here. But yeah, I'm just kind of happy that we're actually able to jump in and see this right off the bat. I think it's a really good, launch sort of game to experience, even though I'm checking it out a little bit after. Stop the Vex. And look at the little texturing and stuff in the characters. I just think it looks absolutely amazing. I know we talk a lot about like human type looks and stuff, but if we're looking at like some anime type characters like we see with like Yardi and stuff like that, we're getting some really incredible texturing with this type of environment. And I love how they kind of fit in really well with the world too. Like, it's got this real look to it, but also a light little bit of fantasy just with how everything's woven. Like, looking at like the line work over there and stuff, it's really quite charming and just really delightful. They did a really, really good job with this one, just in terms of like offering a lot of content, things to do, and ways to play with others too. You gotta remember, not only is this something that you could roll through by yourself, but you could play with like a group of 4 running through this. That's kind of nuts. And I think they put together just a really enjoyable, fun, easygoing time that can have a challenge here or there with some, boss fight situations, or having to go back and hunt collectibles, or doing the extra trials for a bit more of a challenge. They've kind of got it all thrown in here in this epic adventure that I assume kind of starts maybe a new, fresh franchise going forward for this particular character's name being in the title or whatever. And it'll be neat to see if we get, hopefully, some follow-ups, because I do want to see more of what this character has to offer, and I think this is definitely worthwhile time on the PS5.